welcome to Starstop. You're with me, Salil, and today, well, I have a treasure chest. Because this treasure chest very rarely comes out in public. And when he does come out in public, it's almost like you want to just sit next to him and just absorb. So, this is a common fact. 15 years ago in Mumbai, when you came as, as a visitor, if you just came to Mumbai, one of the places that you always went to visit, like a shrine for acting, was Mr. Gopal Varma's factory. Every actor, every person, they would come to see, अच्छा यहाँ से बड़े लोग जाएंगे, and यहाँ से बड़े लोग बन जाएंगे. And that's exactly the kind of impact that he's had on cinema over the last 20 years and more in Indian cinema. So Ramuji, thank you so much, sir, for joining me. A real pleasure. And like I said, every word that we've said is true. Sachin Joshi, of the extreme right, doesn't always look so serious. He does actually smile also. But really somebody who I've also started to follow a lot in the last 4 or 5 years, believes a lot in cinema, and not just his businesses. It's always a lot of cinema, and he's always told us that. And I'll ask him if he had any Gopal Varma story when he was younger. And once again, wearing the all green, which is actually the color of the jungle, Lisa Ray, thank you so much, looking as gorgeous.
Thank you.
Do you have any Gopal Varma story when you were thinking about the Bollywood industry as to how, like so many of us, would want to see the factory?
No, definitely. I mean, even I felt the same as anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, if I get an opportunity to meet him and discuss with him about the films that I would love to do and get an opportunity to work with him, it's like everybody else, I felt the same. But didn't have the opportunity. I guess it had to happen at the right time, and eventually it happened.
You know, so you've always made the kind of cinema that every man has wanted to do. You know, the Don Corleone styles, the Godfathers of the world. You've depicted it in a very strong way in cinema. You know, it's never been frivolous cinema. So you may have had your hits, you've had your flops, but the point is the kind of cinema remains. And you know, even now, every single person will want to be part of a Gopal Varma film. What is that? I can't explain it. What is the magic that you have, that you hypnotize everyone and you keep them there at the cinemas?
If I knew what it was, why would I also make bad films?
No, but sometimes, so when you are making those cinemas or those films that don't work out, do you sit in retrospect and say that maybe I shouldn't have done this?
I mean, I think, say, like any film, I think it happens over a series of decisions you take over a long period of time at different times, and the factors which influence each of those decisions would be different. So the same kind of impulse mind state, what I mean, also is responsible for the good and the so-called bad films. So I can't really take one away from the other, because they're all coming from the same thought process. That's how I would put it across.
When you made all these films that have been landmark, you know, and Manoj Bajpayee, I met a few days back, he says, it doesn't matter what comes and goes, Satya will always be the kind of film that, you know, stays in my mind, you know. And you'll have a Vivek Oberoi, which you're, you know, say, relaunching now, you know, with so much talk about that. There are lots of these films. So when you're sitting there in that zone, and you do face a lot of flack also, because you love speaking your mind, and, you know, you're one of those directors and people in the industry that doesn't always look for a rebuttal. You'll leave it out there and you'll let everyone conjecture about it, and then you just walk away with that. So is that also how you make cinema, that you believe in this kind of cinema, and that's it?
Eventually it's about, cinema eventually is a medium. So I can talk to you, or I can write something, or I can possibly make a film, and, you know. So it is a medium at the end of the day. But what's coming out of it is what I'm feeling, or what I'm thinking, or what I would like to express or state. So I think that Twitter just becomes one more medium for that. Yeah.
But you never reply on Twitter.
Yeah, because the number of things which I get in replies is impossible for me to do that. Yeah.
If you've ever followed his Twitter handle, RGV Zooming, you will understand what I'm talking about. Like I said, he leaves it out there, and then everyone else keeps fighting on that, then he moves on to his next tweet. Lisa, whenever you've heard about Gopal Varma, it was always stylized. You've been in cinema that long as you've been able to see all his films. Were you also excited sometimes as an actor to see all his films that used to come out at that point of time?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that RGV is a he's a trailblazer. Yeah. And again, as you said, you know, cinema, certain kinds of movies will come and go. Yeah. But to make a film that stays with you decades later, like a Satya Company, Rangila, I mean,
even Sarkar, the entire series of Sarkar.
I mean, people don't understand from outside the industry how difficult it is. And to be honest, I mean, it's not something that's calculated as well. It either happens or it doesn't. So RGV has had this magic touch. There's no doubt about it. And so, yeah, obviously as an actor, I mean, probably a lot of people don't know this about me, but I was brought up on world cinema, you know, some of the greats. My father is a Bengali, he's a great cinemaphile. So aside from Satyajit Ray, the other filmmaker that my father respected, and this always, you know, when I'm a daddy's girl, so when my father gives someone the stamp of approval, I definitely pay attention. And he used to watch RGV's films. You know, so a good Bengali Babu Moshai gave you the stamp of approval.
You never told me
means
this.
a lot. No, I know.
So today there's a bit of a revelation.
I just remembered, actually.
Actually, the name RGV itself actually is a rather cool name, you know. So it was always different in the industry. You know, you had all the conventional names that were there, but you had this RGV name that was there. And you yourself as a person also are very calm. You know, one wouldn't think there's this violence that is there in your cinema or in the kind of films that you do make, or, you know, even the kind of scripts that you write. Otherwise, as a person, you're very calm, cool, relaxed, and, you know, almost unassuming. You know, you would be able to disappear in the background.
Yeah, see, I am so peaceful. I can't stand the sight of blood, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and you see, even I can't kill a mosquito. So a mosquito is sucking my blood. I gently kind of take it off. So that's probably, I'm the most peaceful guy I ever known.
How do you direct such violent films sometimes?
Because of that. Because I'm able to zoom out and look at it for what it is. And that's the reason I think I'm able to capture the emotional side of the violence rather than trying to just to make a physical shock aspect of it.
Actually, I remember Acharya being the only physical, very large amount of violence that was there. Now, when you come to this film, Veerappan is a name that is synonymous with anybody who's followed news for the last 20 years knows this name. You know, it's not about whether it's about bandits or about police or about anything. It's just news. He was the biggest name for the longest period of time, and for a long time people didn't know whether it was a good thing to know him or was it a bad thing to know him. You know, and you have always done a lot of research. I remember watching just the trailer that had come on. I know it had done very well in Kannada and Telugu and all that, but I saw the trailer and I said, you know what, the first line that people said, RGV is back. So this back and going away and, you know, coming back in, when you saw the film also that you made, were you suddenly very proud of what you had made there and then, you know, to remake it again?
See, remaking it is also, like, why I made it in Kannada in the first place actually was because the topic, it remained like someone wanted to make, so I didn't want to make any Kannada film, but since Veerappan is such a popular figure across the world, and to my knowledge, there's nobody like him in the history of the world, because he's just a simple criminal. He's not like a terrorist organization is backing him or some kind of a rebel state.
Alone.
He's alone, yeah. So, and then there were parallels drawn to Osama bin Laden, in the sense the hunt which happened for such a long time, and this almost rivaling in the same aspect, you know. So but when I made it, because Karnataka people, it happened in home ground, they would be knowing pretty much lots of stuff about it. So I took that as a granted. The guy walking into the theater,
he knows who
know,
Veerappan is.
Yeah, enough things about him. But to make it in Hindi was actually more Sachin's idea, you know, because Sachin when he saw it, whatever issues he had based on the film and what he felt, what he didn't know about Veerappan before, and this, I think she said, Ram, we should make it a more elaborate and more on a much more grander scale, and that's what the subject matter like this deserves, you know. So to that extent, that is when we kind of, I didn't change the structure. I mean, eventually Veerappan is
but
like Mahabharata.
Differences in the
I'm saying it's like Mahabharata. Veerappan, you know, if a 20-year span film story, a real story, to sum it up in 2 hours is going to be very difficult. So I took the way of showing Veerappan's story from the point of view of the people who actually were involved in killing him, you know. So
Sachin, did you think about doing it in 2 parts? Like, he's made Rakta Part 1 and Part 2, and it was a 5-hour film. And there have been films that have been made there. You know, like I said, encompassing 20 years is very, very difficult. So when you thought of it, it's a very exciting concept anyway to make a film like that. And you're the man who's bringing him down. But when you thought of seeing this film, did you think that, you know, maybe we should make a really long film?
No, I don't think so, because Veerappan as a character, I mean, there is limited knowledge as people have, but the part of his 20 years of journey, there were highlights to it. You know, like we watch a cricket game, but even in highlights we get the gist of the entire game. Similarly, for Veerappan, the thought was there that make it in various parts or series or anything like that, but it would not look genuine. I mean, people would not, it would not hold interest. The interesting parts that are required to be seen about Veerappan and the new things that people don't know about, I felt if it is shown in one film, will be appropriate than trying to make it in multiple
In Part
parts.
2. He's actually a very good cricket player also. That's why the cricket references. You know, actually, if you ever follow Sachin, he's a very, very good cricket player. Why are you always so impossible to reach?
Me?
Yes, sir.
That's not true at all.
So are you accessible? Are those days
I'm accessible to anyone who I want to be accessible.
Yeah, there you go. So earlier there was a time
That's actually Veerappan's line, you know. I suddenly realized.
he's actually become like a recluse. But earlier there was a time, do you miss those days when every young, I wouldn't want to use as a word struggler, but newcomer would come to you with roses in their eyes, hoping that aaj RGV meri zindagi bana degi?
I mean, but that happens even now. But that happens now mostly on the cell phone. They'll keep sending me pictures through WhatsApp and videos. So I think the time of actually people physically meeting doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
How are you able to? How is spotting talent? How does one spot talent? What is that spark that you look for, or that you know it can take you forward?
I mean, I think it. For example, if you take Veerappan, the guy who was casted for Veerappan, I just spoke to a couple of casting directors, and they started sending me pictures. This one particular actor, something about him I liked, so I sent him a few lines, and he just enacted them and sent me a WhatsApp video.
Did he believe that it was the real Gopal Varma sending him a WhatsApp?
Yeah, because the casting director told him.
He told him, okay.
So, and he sent me a video, and which I liked, and then I forwarded that video to Vikram Gaikwad, the makeup man. I said, can you make this guy look like Veerappan? He said, ask him to come and see me and give me a month or so. And that's what happened. So I actually met Sandeep on the day on the shooting set. I didn't meet him before.
You didn't meet him before that?
No.
Wow. And what if he hadn't looked like Veerappan if you'd seen him that day?
But I saw the picture that's coming through the WhatsApp. No? I saw, yeah.
But we see, like I said, it's a process. A lot of it takes a lot of time. And this lady walked into fray. So when you see a Lisa, you know, there's so many images that come into your mind, and so many. She's got a huge body of work as well. Also, we've all been huge fans of her. Like we've been fans of you, we've been fans of her as well. So this casting, let's talk about that.
Yeah. See, Lisa also, I mean, actually, very initially when I was thinking of this character is very interesting. I mean, she's not like directly from the part of the police, but she happened to play a very important role in the capture of Veerappan, you know. And it was actually Sachin's idea first. Because the first time when I heard, I was kind of taken aback. But then I suddenly realized it is such an incredible contrast, the way Lisa looks and Veerappan's wife Muthulakshmi looks, you know, like chalk and cheese, you can say that, you know. And the fact that she's got a slight foreign aspect to Lisa, you know, I think all that will really work. And that's how the casting. That's how I approached Lisa. Yeah.
So you got a call, Lisa. Sachin's telling you that we're thinking. No?
I got a WhatsApp message.
Oh, you got a WhatsApp? Yes. But this is really high technology.
True to form, I got a WhatsApp message, and I was actually in Delhi at the time, and I was actually promoting another film. And you know, when you get a WhatsApp from RGV, I mean, obviously the first thought is this
Is it
true?
real or is it
Is this
fake?
real? Is it not?
Yeah.
And something instinctively told me that it was also,
Did you
and
check
not
the
just because of the
photograph?
profile, not just because of that. That's easy enough.
No, but I was saying, so what photographs does
profile.
Sir have on that? Is it? Do you have an interesting photograph on your WhatsApp?
I have a picture. I think I look very, very serious in that.
Yeah, it's very, very intense. Very intense. So, but once we jumped on the phone, and RGV's mind works a mile a minute, you know, and he just had that clarity. And he said, look, here's what's going on, and this is what I would like to propose to you, you know. And it happened actually so quickly, and I really appreciated that because, I mean, I did once I came back to Bombay already, you know, walk in, and as soon as I walked into the office and we had that conversation, I felt at ease because even I was a little hesitant. It's like, this is actually a very challenging role.
Yeah, and physically as well, isn't it?
Physically, and I actually don't doubt myself as an actor, but still, the other thing was I thought, oh, we're going to shoot really soon. I don't have enough preparation. My normal technique is to then research and do preparation and things like that. So I said, fantastic, let's do it, RGV. This is a thrill, but like, what sort of homework should I do? Yeah. And RGV just gave me a look.
Just come on set.
Homework? No, just show up, you know? And he gave me his philosophy. And believe me, that has actually been a turning point for me as an actor at this point in my life. As a you know, my entire career it's influenced. So thank you for that because...
Yeah, it is high praise as well also to get a WhatsApp from an RGV. But the man who's put this all together was extremely researched. You know, you are like I said, you're an actor in a businessman's body. I've always said that to you. You know, there's a large part of you that would have only wanted to be an actor, but you understand that the business end of it also has to be taken care of very well.
Right.
So you're, in fact, one of those meticulous ones that will probably go through 17 Excel sheets before you get on shoot. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, it is important. I mean, if you're well prepped, it always helps in the long run.
But otherwise, this kind of film, it's a very hard film to shoot because it's shooting in jungles. It's not a pretty film. Right. It's going to be a hard, like, you know, the chase itself. There's a lot of reality that is going to be in there. And like RGV said, we had to show a slightly more elaborate picture than was shown in the Kannada film. Right. So the first thing that came to your mind, you know, when you actually set out to do this film, was it like, you know, it's a big, daunting project? Oh, it's all right. It's fine. He's on tour, so it should be fine.
See, the best thing that really worked for me is that people might not know, but RGV is quite organized when he's working on a project. And he has certain philosophies and structures put in place when he goes on floor with such projects. And that really helps to put the budget down in its proper manner. And you can't really tweak it around. So that clarity was there. I mean,
I would say, like what you were saying about Sachin, he goes through Excel sheets, which I don't think is true, because I think his passion to make the film as well as it can happen, as well as it should be made, I think is of foremost importance. Yeah. And probably once that decision is made, he can think, but I don't think that comes in the front. Even though
so it's film first and then budget.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I try and see it in this way that you have to make a film. You don't have to do compromises, and you have to give what it requires. Because if you make a film which is bits and pieces a compromise, then it finally reflects in the film, and then audience gets disappointed. So the Excel sheets are made, but that's post the decision.
Yeah. Once the decision's been made, nothing changes there.
Nothing changes. Now, how to make it go through, and what is required for it is then what we start implementing upon.
Sachin, when you come into this film as an actor with RGV, how is he? He's so soft-spoken. I'm sitting 2 feet across and can barely hear him.
Well, he's just like that right
on
here.
On set? Not on the set? so describe this enigma called Ram Gopal Varma to us.
You have to make sure when it comes with him, when you're on the set, that you come well prepared, you do all your bits and pieces right in the beginning, because till the time the day gets over, you're not allowed to move.
Really?
Yeah, so you're at task.
So you're sitting right next to him, doing exactly as he says.
Yeah, exactly.
In spite of the fact that it was 50 degrees, humid, and crazy temperatures to shoot in, and crazy climates as well.
Yeah, I mean, there is no option.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have options and you can think of things, but the locations that he picks up, or the kind of shooting speed that he takes off with, even, I mean, you have to think twice, should I go take a loo break, what will happen next, and you know, those kinds of things comes on.
So everyone's always on call.
Always on
call. You can be called anytime.
I mean, and a lot of improvisation, obviously, as well, you know. So there were certain scenes that we did together, which on paper, you know, it looked to be one thing, and then when we actually worked it out on the set, became something completely different.
Are you easy to convince with that? I mean, do you let actors just play?
No, I say I never, in fact, have this reputation that I make the actor do exactly what I ask them to do. But the truth is that I never really tell the actor what to do. I mean, I just give a lot of theory. And my belief is that you should make them feel the emotion rather than trying to tell them exactly what to behave. So then it becomes imitation of an emotion. Yeah.
I endorse it. I mean, it is not that, okay, I want it in such a specific way. I mean, he makes you live the character. And that is very, I think that's not an easy thing to do. But once you live that character, all you have to do is just give the lines with your emotion.
Well, I think this one's looking like it's going to really rock. Just the trailer was enough to like sort of, make me understand and think that, my God, he's back and how. When I say this line, he's back and how, there's so much criticism sometimes you have to deal with. Filmmakers and actors and so many people. Does it honestly not affect you at all?
I mean, I've answered this question many times. I guess I'll do it once again. See, the point is, I feel everyone has a right to criticize. I mean, when they expect something, they liked something, and if I didn't live up to the expectation, to criticize me or to feel disappointed. Like, I do the same to many makers. So when I do the same to probably, including some political events, you know, I think the whole point of life of everyone is to criticize someone else, you know. And I think it's a part and parcel of life, not necessarily only in cinema. So, but what I look at it is, I look at the reason for the criticism, not so much about what they said. And if the reason is valid enough which I probably did not think of that, or for example, someone will tell me that Ramu's problem is he does too much and too fast, which I know for a fact is wrong, because the maximum time I ever taken in my entire life, and money-wise and time-wise, is ARG, which is the biggest flop of my career. And probably I did Sarkar in 29 days.
Really?
Yeah, Satya in some 38 days. So the point is, choosing the right material is one, and second is the emotional content of the film, how much you got. And sometimes, not that any filmmaker deliberately wants to make a bad film, he doesn't, obviously, So the causes, I am like very fast when I say that I'm very fast, like what Lisa and Sachin are saying. I hate wasting time, because time is the only thing which keeps on going away from our lives, and it's not acceptable to me that someone wastes time without working.
So if they stick with you, they got to throw the watch out of the window.
I took a couple of years away from then, but I just wanted to look back on, not necessarily just to sit and do nothing, but I wanted to look at Bollywood in a more another way. And probably even now, I'm like a wild horse. I'm very impulsive, and if I take that impulse away, I probably would be losing myself.
Yeah.
So, but now I think I've come back with a certain method in my madness. Hopefully that will show in my
It's already
films.
showing, sir. Just before we leave, singing and dancing, will that happen in your films? Rangila has been a long time.
I'm not so sure, because unless I get another Urmila, I doubt.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you.
Like I said, Veerappan is a film we're all looking forward to. And if you've seen the trailer, you'll understand what I'm saying. They've gone through a lot to shoot the film. And when you see the film, I'm sure that, everything, like they say, khare utar aayegi, as far as the box office predictions are concerned. Thanks, Sachin. Thanks, Lisa. I will see you soon. Take care and bye-bye.